Whatever we're worried about, we can't cast it because we don't know how it's going to play out. But the thing about trying to hold on to control is that you're really losing control. And that's the reason why your anxiety is getting the best of you. So basically,
So there's a saying, and I'm not speaking of any sort of race, I'm speaking of a color. If it's white, it's not right. Right?
That part.
So white bread. If this was me calling you, when are you gonna answer the phone? And then after you answer the phone, are you gonna show up?
Exactly.
And then it gave a parameter, amen, on how I need to love her.
Talk about that.
He says Christ loved the church.
He gave his life.
That man up. When that man walks through the door, just tell him, man, look at my man. Come in and give us your fine self. You pushing that man and more.
This is when you know you're dealing with trauma in a light way. You get an envelope in the mailbox, you don't open it, you avoid it. Being avoidant. Hello everyone, how y'all doing? So I'm gonna give people a couple of moments to get tuned in, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. I would like to welcome everyone to the Whole Story Sundays podcast. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but hey y'all, how y'all doing today? I am gonna let a couple of people get a chance to come on, and then I'll get started. And I'll start adding content. Yeah, so just give it a few minutes, y'all. I'm gonna see if someone is on. Hey Chantel, how you doing? Yeah, so I'm gonna give it a couple of more moments, y'all. Can y'all hear me? Everything good with the audio? So welcome to day one of we having like conversations about anxiety for the whole month of April. So basically it's almost like oh girl, I can imagine. I'm tired of working, girl. It's time to retire. So yeah, so anyway, so basically guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and people will come on soon, I'm pretty sure. Thank you, Chantel. I appreciate it. I'm happy I do, because to be honest with you, Chantel, I was working today and I just feel like I was looking kind of crazy, but it's okay. If you say I look cute, then I look cute. So yeah, so we talking about anxiety for the whole month of April, and basically today's topic, we're going to be talking about the power of casting. And basically the reason why I named this episode Casting, or the power in casting, is because I just thought it was very essential to understand that in order to even start our month journey on mitigating anxiety, and not only mitigating and decreasing anxiety, but just trying to, like, that feeling of anxiousness, that feeling of fear, that feeling of always like we have to be on the go, or it's just the spirit of fright. I believe it has worsened since the 2020 pandemic, COVID-19. So before we even get started on giving you guys like tips about anxiety, I felt that it was appropriate to just first start off by telling you it's time to cast your anxiety, and not only cast your anxiety, but ways of knowing that you're not casting your cares to God. So basically the scripture reference that I'm utilizing is 1 Peter 5:7. In the New International Verse, it basically says, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. And in some other translations, it'll say, give all your worries and cares to God, for he cares about you. So yeah, so the reason why I love this verse is because when you think of the word cast, you literally think of something being thrown. You think of something being like, pretty much you're throwing something. Just like when Jesus told Peter to cast his net this way, he told him to cast it, to throw it, because he was basically saying in order to get something fresh, you have to get rid of something old. So he was giving him instruction on what to do. So when we cast a care, we're basically casting it into the direction of where we want it to go. And it's crazy because to think about the word cast, you're thinking about, again, like I said, something being thrown. So if God is telling us to cast something to him, he's basically telling us that he can carry a weight and a burden that we never could carry. So the thing about casting is that it's an act of faith. It's hard to fully give something to God when we are afraid of how it's going to work out. A lot of us can't cast because we don't know the end result. And the thing about casting is, like you're giving it up. So if I'm giving this thing up, whatever my worry is, some of us are worried about finances. Some of us are worried about our families. Some of us are worried about our jobs. Some of us are worried about our children or our relationship. Whatever we're worried about, we can't cast it because we don't know how it's going to play out. But the thing about trying to hold on to control is that you're really losing control. And that's the reason why your anxiety is getting the best of you. So basically, I wanted to give you guys 5 signs that you're not casting your worries. And I just want to tell you guys today that it's power in casting. I know that, it doesn't seem that way. I know that it's a scary thing to get rid of something, but just remember that whatever we hold on to, whether it's good or bad, we can't get anything in replace of it. So if you're holding on to worry, you can't get peace because you're holding it. You're holding on to it. That's why God says cast it. Like literally throw it so far out of your way that it's no longer a worry for you, and just have faith that in your surrender, God is going to make provision for you. So what I want to do again is give you guys 5 signs that you're not casting today. The first sign that you're not casting your cares unto God is if you're constantly overwhelmed. Being overwhelmed is a direct reflection of we have too much on our plate. And hold on, y'all. It's a direct reflection that we have too much on our plate. And not only do we have too much on our plate, but we also are not delegating our task. And the thing about anxiety is it worsens when you have too much on your plate, right? Because when you have too much on your plate, is no room for anything else to get there. And in order to put something else on your plate, you got to clear off what you already have on your plate. So if you're overwhelmed, it just means it's something over you, right? So if I have too many tasks that's overwhelming me, then what does that mean? That means that I can't reduce anxiety because what I'm actually doing is putting too much anxiety on myself. Thank you, Chantel. I'm happy that this is for you. And here's the thing about being overwhelmed, y'all. I just want to be honest with you. The thing about when we are overwhelmed, when we have too much task on our plate, that's a direct reflection of anxiety. A lot of the times, some of us become workaholics. We live in a society that says, trap or die, hustle hard or go home. You don't get no sleep until you get rich, right? That's a form of anxiety because you're not believing and having enough faith for God to, first of all, provide you with the peace that even if you don't get this task done, unless it's a dire need to get it done today, that there will be time the next day. That's one thing. The next thing is that you're making all of these priorities your God in a sense, right? And you're idolizing that. And because you're doing that, is no room for God. So God doesn't have have any solution for you. He can't give you any solution because your will won't allow you to allow God to help you get your task done. God does not want to just handle the spiritual stuff. He wants every single aspect of our life. Every care that we have, he wants us to cast it to him. So if you have too many work tasks at work, just a practical tip is to ask God to help you deviate your day. Ask God to help you navigate your day. But if we're always overwhelmed, we can't spend time with God. If we're always overwhelmed, we can't spend time with family. If we're always overwhelmed, we can't get self-care. So guess what? If I can't spend time with God, spend time with family, get self-care, and I have all this long to-do list to do, then what am I doing? I'm creating more anxiety for myself. So basically what I want us to do, guys, is just to get in the habit of, making sure that we're reducing our to-do list, because we'll miss the moment by being busy all the time. Being overwhelmed, you can't think clearly. How can you think clear in a junkie room? You just can't. So then the other sign that you are actually dealing with anxiety and you're not casting your cares is you are missing important deadlines. So if you're anything like myself, you do not do good with deadlines. And that not doing good with deadlines is you actively self-sabotaging. And when we actively self-sabotage, it's basically a form of anxiety. And people don't know that. Self-sabotaging is anxious. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to avoid this task altogether because it seems it's too much for me. And because this task feels like it's too much for me, I'd rather not do it, put it on the back burner. And in the meantime, I miss the deadline. The crazy part about it is that in missing the deadline, we're creating more anxiety, more anxious, more stress in our day. And it's like we're creating conflict and chaos when it doesn't have to be. And we know in the Bible, God says he doesn't rest in the spirit of confusion. God is not a confused God, right? And it's not only just that, but God also gave us time to steward it. So if he can't trust us to get our papers turned in on time, if he can't, as a matter of fact, Chantel just told me this last week. My social media manager just told me, if he can't trust us to pay our bills on time, if he can't trust us to get our jobs done on time, then he can't trust us to steward our time. Many of us are asking for more responsibility, but we can't even handle the little that he has for us right now. So it's very important that, you deal with the root of your anxiety so that you can be able to complete tasks on time, because if not, you're going to be in a circle, almost like a spin cycle of a pattern of anxiety. A little testimony is that I am a type of person, and I'm working with this and dealing with this, who I would miss deadlines on purpose. I would get so overwhelmed and know that I would have something to do. But because I wanted to self-sabotage, because the task felt paramount, because it felt like it was bigger than me, I felt like I can't do this, so I'm just going to miss it. I was probably going to fail it anyway, or I was probably going to, not have any money to pay this bill anyway, or I was probably going to, be late anyway, so I might as well just miss the deadline. I'm going to beat myself to the punch. And one thing God had to deal with me on was that I am never going to give you more until you start stewarding what I already have for you. You want promotion? You're not going to get promotion because I can't even trust you to turn in your term paper on time. And saying that, guys, it's being disrespectful to God when we're not doing what he give us to do. And a lot of people say, well, God don't got nothing to do with my work. He don't got nothing to do with my school. Yes, he do. We're supposed to display excellence in every area of our life, because we're the salt and we're the light. And if God can't trust us to go into that job and do the right things, he's never going to trust us with more. So some of us got to understand that if you want to level up, then you really have to start making the deadlines. Just a practical tip on how to handle that is, making a to-do list and making it in order from, most important to least important. So guess what? If you don't get the least important important stuff done, and that's due weeks and weeks down the line, at least you know you got the most important thing done. So, again, anxiety is a form of avoidance, and self-sabotaging is another form of anxiety. So we want to break this cycle. We have to meet deadlines, and that goes back to making sure we're not overwhelmed. Hey, podcast nobody listens to, thank you for joining. So then the other tip that I have for y'all is we are having mental fog, and mental fog is when you can't think clear. So it's when you wake up in the morning, you can't find nothing that you're looking for. You like, oh, I got to do this. And then next thing you know, you done sat up there and forgot about doing that activity, because then somebody call you and then you like, oh, I got to do that. But then you like, oh, shoot, I forgot I got to put gas in the car. Oh, shoot, I forgot I got to wash the dishes. And it gets to a point where, back in the day when they used to have those old TVs and it would just completely go fuzzy. It would go fuzzy because it's not getting any reception. Some of us can't get any reception because we have too much on our plate. So it's causing mental fog. We're not delegating. We're not making designated to-do lists. So what's happening is that we can't think, and we're all over the place. And again, remember I said God is not in the midst of confusion, right? God is a God of order. So if he's a God of order, why would he want his sheep? Why would he want his children to be confused and all over the place? I know, Chantel, I be doing it too. Like I be having mental fog. Yep. I'm telling you, I be going through this too, y'all. That's the reason I'm not telling y'all what I heard. I'm literally telling y'all what I know. So I know that mental fog comes from having too much on your plate. That's the reason why it's so important, again, to make those to-do lists and to start your day with something like self-care. So what I have done to kind of go against the grain of that, y'all, is I start my day in prayer. I'll start my day journaling. And again, that goes back to that casting thing, because I'm telling God, I need you to help me take control of my day. Like I got too much going on and I'm gonna F it up. And I'm sorry, y'all. That's literally how I talk to God, though. I'm gonna mess this up. And hey, forgiveness lifestyle. So because I know I'm gonna mess this up, I need you to help me take control of my day. And that's when he gives me strategy on how to literally conquer my day. A lot of us cannot fully do purpose and walk in our purpose until we learn how to delegate our day. So mental fog is a sign that we just got too much going on and it's time to get focused. You can't, again, think clear in a room that is dirty. And if it's foggy outside, you can't even see. You got to put your high beams on. So if I got mental fog, how can I create? To my podcasters, to my content creators, to my artists, how can you create with mental fog? You can't do anything out of anxiety. Anxiety is a form of fear. It literally make us drop the ball and mess up. So that is sign number 3. Number 4 is you're irritable, you're moody, and you are pretty much just snappy. That's basically a high sign that you are dealing with some form of anxiety. A lot of people don't know, when your irritability is a direct reflection of a messed up mental state. People don't know that. People think, oh, well, it's just I woke up on the wrong side of the day this morning. No, you probably woke up on the wrong side of the bed. But the reality of the situation is, if this is happening at least 5 out of the 7 times that we're in a week, hey, Diva Shoes, if this is happening too much, then it's a direct reflection that your anxiety is at an all-time high, because none of us should be bound with the spirit of oppression, depression, frustration every single day. That's a direct reflection that something is not right with your soul and that you have way too much on your plate. So it's really imperative to check yourself, like, God, why every day I wake up, I'm in a pissy mood? It's not even anything wrong, but I'm frustrated. You're frustrated because you're not delegating. Because Chantel, I know I be needing to delegate too. You're frustrated because you're not casting your cares to God. You're frustrated and irritable because you know that you have too much on your plate. You can't handle it all, but yet and still you trying to put on that cape and be Superwoman. Yet and still you trying to put on that cape and be Superman. I mean, we can't do anything if we are not operating at a spirit of excellence. And how can we operate at a spirit of excellence if we irritated every day? People don't even want to talk to you. And for my content creators, we thrive off of working with other people. We can't create if we're irritable, because guess what? It's not going to come from a pure place. So my last point is that you're doing so much, but yet nothing is getting done. So you have a to-do list. You actually make the to-do list, right? Or not. But everything on your to-do list, you might got 5 items, only one of them get done. That's a reflection of anxiety, because you're spending most of your energy turning your wheels, trying to get you're just trying to process your day. So I said that to say it's imperative that, you have to check yourself when every day you got 10 things on your to-do list, but only 2 of them is getting done. What's really going on? Sometimes it's okay to be real with yourself and say, yo, I got all of this stuff on my to-do list and I'm only getting this much done. What's happening? Why am I not operating at my highest self? Why am I not being as productive? And guys, I'm gonna just tell y'all something. What I'm learning, the more you elevate, the more you're not going to be able to answer every phone call. You're not going to be able to be on FaceTime for 30 hours a day. You're not going to be able to scroll for an hour, because 1 hour of scrolling equates to one task that could have got done but didn't get done. You see what I'm saying? 1 hour of being on FaceTime equates to you done gossip with this person. You done talked about meaningless stuff, yet and still you were supposed to make that content. Yet and still you were supposed to go pay these bills. Yet and still you were supposed to be working on your vision board or doing whatever you were supposed to do to be productive. You can't get it done because you weren't focused. A lot of the times, and it goes back to avoidance. Avoidance is a form of anxiety, and it's easier to not get our tasks done, but kind of kick it and politic with our homegirl, our homeboy, because it kind of takes us away from the task that we have to do. But the reality of the situation, that task is going to still be there. So if it's still going to be there, it's so important to make sure that you push through whatever immediate feeling that you have, and you cast that anxiety and you do your thing. Get your to-do list done, because you're going to sleep better at the end of the night knowing that I got most of my to-do list done. But on the contrary, I didn't get anything on my to-do list done because I talked to my homegirl all day. I get it, guys. We don't want to go through those phases in life where we're in solitude, where we're not having conversations. But sometimes hearing everybody else's bad news all day long, being on social media all day long, can trigger our anxiety, because the reality of the situation is, like, hearing things can be secondhand trauma. So I don't got time to focus on your relationship stuff right now, because at the end of the day, I got this to-do list over here and I'm supposed to be checking stuff off. I got this business plan that I got to get over, but I ain't getting it done. So, I just want to encourage us that, I know it's hard to casting, to throw. I know, we don't trust God all the time to handle it. But my advice to anybody watching today is that you make God your number one. Start your day with God. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Don't go a day without it, because he'll help you navigate and delegate your to-do list. We need to cast our anxieties on God, because in casting our anxieties on God, he's going to handle the in-between stuff. But we also got to do our part. If you got 1,000 things to do, you need to navigate your week to get it done. But not only just that, you have to limit conversations. Some conversations, if it's not about God, money, if it's not about building up the kingdom of God or building up your family legacy, they're going to have to be cut off for a little while. So I love y'all. I want to thank y'all for joining a brief segment of the Whole Story Sundays. Guys, if you like this content, I really encourage y'all to please hit the link in my bio to go listen and subscribe to my podcast, The Whole Story Sundays. I am also in the process of having a conference. It will be in July on the 22nd. If you guys would like to attend. We're going to have a lot of great keynote speakers, food, shirts. It's going to be a great time. Then please do me a favor and go on Eventbrite and grab your ticket. Also, guys, don't forget the next full episode of the Whole Story Sundays will be airing on April the 10th. And we're actually going to be actively meditating and talking about anxiety. Happy healing and selling. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for spending your Friday night with me, because I know y'all probably got way better things to do. And thank you. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.